Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Stand Together, day number 6. Welcome. If you're joining us for the live, give me a hi, give me a good morning in the bottom. Replay, you know the drill. Give me hashtag replay so I know you're actually watching this thing and you are paying attention. Welcome to day number 6. Day number 6, hey? All the fun and all the games of 16 million people hanging out in lockdown right now and slowly but surely coming out, going back in, coming out, all the fun stuff that's happening. This is about me jumping on, letting you know that I'm here with you and that we're all in this together, standing together every single day with all of you right across the world and, of course, here in Australia as well. So jump on, say good morning. Hey, who's on today? Hey, Jeff, good to see you. Paul, Sarah, VJ, Nick, great to see you. Chris, Naomi, Pina, Mia, jump on, give me a good morning. Jalitas, I think I've said that right. Sam, Bray, Garania, Mandy, good morning everybody jumping on and joining us. Corey, good to see you guys. Good morning. I hope you guys have had an amazing day yesterday. Great and productive day yesterday and a great start to your morning. 8 o'clock here in Melbourne, so I hope you've started your morning well with a routine to get yourself fired up and focused for the day and getting really clear. And we talked about winning your mornings as well a little while back. So if you haven't yet nailed that routine, then maybe go back and have a bit of a look and see how you can nail that routine. So the format, I'm going to give you something. I'm going to then do a bit of a Q&A on whatever you might need right now, just to help you right now to be able to get through where you are. And again, I always encourage you to share this. If there's a message that if you love something you hear, the most important thing you can do, I think, in life is if you work something out is to share it with others, which is really the basis of why I do what I do. When I'm doing an Empire Mastery, when I'm helping my mastermind students, the Empire Circle, when I'm working with private students, for me, it's about how can I help that person to move forward. And that moment where I go, okay, I didn't know this when I first started, but let me tell you, and I see that person avoid a pothole or avoid a landmine and create greatness, that's a really exciting thing. And so this is about passing it on. So every day I'm going to give you something that I think is really useful and helpful for you right now, whether you are scaling and you're crushing it right now, or whether you are, whether you're not, whether you are in a lockdown or in a business where you really can't operate right now, because of your business type or because of the restrictions. So what I wanted to talk about today is I wanted to give you something that really has helped me over the years, and I think it's something that I really undervalued when I very first started to build my empire. I didn't really see this as a mainstay, as like a core foundation to building a business and building an empire, and what that was partnerships, right? It's partnerships. So today I want to talk about what are strategic partnerships and how you can actually build them really simply and easily, and why now is it actually a very important time and a very good time to build partnerships. So for me, that's good English. At the very start, when I used to create partnerships, the challenge was I looked at those partnerships kind of like a sale, right? And I kind of went, okay, let's just make the sale and kind of move on. And it was very, very early days, and I didn't really think about it from, okay, what do they need? What do we need? How long is this going to go for? What does this look like? And I think for me, when I really started to stop and say, okay, what do I really need and want from a partnership? I changed my approach, right, of how I was getting involved in these partnerships. So when it comes to strategic partnerships, if you want to be able to build your business from scratch, I'm talking about like from starting from scratch, partnerships are easily by far now my favorite thing that I do. Deal making partnerships is I spend probably 50% of my week doing partnerships and deals. About 50% of my week, doing deals, buying businesses, investing, and the other and partnerships, right? Like, working out strategic partnerships. Now, here's interesting. Here's why it's a really good time to do this. Normally, in any given year, people are so busy. Even if they're not busy, they bullshit themselves and say they're so busy. How are you? I'm busy. Busy. They could have done a fuck all so far that day and they say they're busy. It's an automatic Pavlovic response, right? They just want to say that they're busy. easy. So when it comes to cutting through to somebody that you really want to be able to work with strategically, why COVID's a great kind of veil to be having right now, to be going through, is because you can have a human conversation with people, right? You can say, hey, how are you? How's your business going? How's it affected you? How's a family? Do you homeschool? All this kind of stuff that you can't normally ask people and not know that everyone's affected by it. This commonality of engagement is such an important thing in selling, but also in partnerships as well, right? Engage is the first thing I teach when I teach sales, right? And deal making. So you've got this thing that everybody has an opinion on, everyone's affected by. So when it comes to speaking to people, you've got the start. You've got the, hey, how you going? How are things going for you? What about the family? Are you been affected by COVID? Not much. You've got this engagement piece when you very first start having a conversation with people, right? So this is why it's really important when you're building partnerships to leverage this right now when you're engaging people, because you've got this common piece right across the world that everyone has an opinion on and everyone is going through in some sense of the word. So that's a great thing for when it comes to first opening up a conversation about partnerships. But here's the reason why this is a great time to do it. Generally, people are so busy, like I said before, and because they're so busy, they're like, oh, I'll get back to that person. Oh yeah, we'll get lunch eventually. I'm just so busy doing this, and they don't have the time. But if you're speaking to a business that's affected by lockdown or even lockdown, this is the time to speak to one of those businesses about maybe working together strategically on some kind of a partnership, because they might have been majorly affected by this. So if you're thinking about partnerships, when somebody is in pain and they're in challenge in their business, that's going to be the time that you want to be able to speak to them about how you can help their business, and maybe how partnering might be able to be a great idea for them right now. If they're looking to grow and they're going through growing pains, it's also the same kind of thing. So this is actually real prime time for partnerships, right? To actually speak with people and start to create partnerships. I want to give you a couple of things. So strategic partnerships, you need to think about like this. Who can you work with in your business that doesn't directly compete but shares your market? They share your demographics. They don't compete with you, but they share your demographics. That's the first question I like to ask myself. Then I ask myself, what do I want from them, right? What is the thing that I want from that person, right? Do I want them to sell my product or my service? Do I want to access their database? Do I want their IP? Do I want their whatever, right? And then what is the value that I bring to them, right? So what's the value that I want from them? What's the value that I bring to them? So first question is going to be, who do you share a market with but you don't compete with? Second question for me is going to be, what's the value that I want from them, and what's the value that I'm going to bring to them, right? What value can I bring to them? Now, I do this in a much bigger way, but I'm just trying to give you some things first thing in the morning you can do here with this Stand Together. But I do this in a big kind of power partner roadmap type thing, and it's big when it comes to building empires. So I know a bunch of you are coming to Empire Mastery, and you're going to love this. It's a whole pillar on partnerships. But I'm going to give you a couple of things you can use now, right? So what you can use now is, who can you work with? Who can you partner with? What value do you want? What value do they bring? And then the fourth thing would be, what is the created value that you make together? What's the created value that you make together? So if you kind of say, hey, listen, I'd love to partner because I see what I can do here for you, and I see what you can do for me. But then what's the value that you create together? And a lot of people, they miss this, right? A lot of people, they miss the whole idea of what's the value you create together. You see, if you add two ingredients together, they create something different. But those two ingredients standalone are still different ingredients, and that's how you have to think about a partnership. If you put, flour and egg together, well, they're still flour and egg. But when you mix those two things, they can turn into a batter, right? So you've got to think about, what are the things that you're mixing together, and what's the value that you're creating in that partnership together, because that's a really important, powerful piece as well, right? It's a really important, powerful piece. So again, I know a bunch of you are going to be hanging out with me in Empire Mastery, and I really do go deep on this kind of stuff. But partnering is such an important thing to building empires, and it is easily one of the biggest tools that I use to start, build, and grow a company and scale it, and definitely from an empire perspective. And if you've been to Empire, you'll be sitting there on your head saying, "Yes, I know," because I teach that quite heavily on day 2, and I just make it super fucking awesome on day 3. Actually, I've got 4 days now, don't I? Day 3 and day 4. So yeah, there's a lot we cover off. There's 4 days now, right? I'm like, hang on, there's 4 days now. I had to add an extra day. Hey, by 2032, Empire Mastery is going to be like 4 weeks. I'm going to take you to the island, Sansoni Island. I'll tell you about that later, but we're building something. Empire Circle, know what I'm talking about. And we'll just do Empire Mastery for 2 weeks, right? That'll be fun. We probably wouldn't do it. We'd probably just hang out right on the island. It'll be fun. So, yeah, there's a lot. But listen, from a partnership point of view, right? What I can give you right now, what you can do right now. What do you want? What do you want from them? What can you give to them? What value do you create together? That's 3 questions. And then who can you work with that you don't compete with? Who can you work with that you don't compete with? That's a really good partnership that kind of really does make sense that you can start to work with. Make sense? So that's what I want to talk about today. Partnerships. Did that help, by the way? Let me know in the comments. Yes. Give me a love it. Give me a got it. Whatever it may be. Empire Island, yeah. Don't even play. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Let me know if this helps. Shit, I've done it now. Cat's out of the bag. The island. We've already made this decision. If this COVID stuff persists into 2022, that's it. We're getting an island. We're out there. All right, let's get some questions, right? I've got a couple of minutes for you today. We talk about partnerships, and I would really love to see you really start to build this. This is the time now. I mean, this is what I'm doing, so I'm telling you what you need to do. So jump on and let's go with questions. Got any questions? Can you provide some examples of partnerships for e-commerce store? Yeah, I can. Yeah, so think about it. Your product, right, that you sell, which is mainly for cyclists, and obviously people walking as well, but it's a protective gear. Then think about who already has a thriving store that you can work with that could list this product or products you might have on their site. Who could you work with? Could you go out to other so that's e-com stores. You can actually work with other e-com stores to sell your own product directly. I mean, think about it. This is how, Kate runs Adore Beauty, or this is how, Mecca is Mecca, because they have other products that you want and they provide it on their platform. So creating partnerships is not new. I mean, Coles wouldn't exist if you took away all of the labeled products and left only the no-name products or the Coles brand products. You would be left with about 5% of the store, right? So 95% of the store is built on partnerships at Coles or at Woolworths. So the world is built on partnerships. You just have to learn how to do them, and you have to do them consistently and learn how to, get coached on how to actually do them properly and create the right kind of deals. Because partnerships is one thing, but then deal making comes into this. But I can't cover all that in a 20-minute chat with you guys. It takes me about half a day or more than a day at Empire Mastery. So partnerships, e-commerce stores that can sell your stuff. I can see text messages already starting about helicopters for an island within my team. So you can tell that everyone's already thinking about this for the island. But I'm serious, by the way. So e-commerce stores for you, Alicia, and then also what about other people that you don't compete with, whether it be physical bike stores that don't have it, or whether it be even organizations that are into cycling. That could be a great one too. Or it could be around safety, schools, around safety of their kids walking to school. There's a whole, you know what I mean? You got to think about who really wants to use these things and who can I partner with. Hope that helps. Mario Chris building some best partnerships in COVID. Absolutely. Take me to the island. Everyone's on the island idea. I shouldn't have mentioned it. Honeymoon suite. Nick's in. He wants a honeymoon suite. Your honeymoon's over. You're not allowed to have another honeymoon. Unless Mel says. Then I'll agree. What do you got? Questions. How do you work out pricing? Yeah, it's a really good question, Mandy. So when I'm doing a deal around a partnership, one of the questions I like to ask people is, does this work for you? From a margin perspective, does this work for you? Because I want to make sure it works for you and for me long term, because there's nothing worse than going out there and agreeing that you'll sell something for X price, and then you walk away from the deal and 2 days later you go, actually, if I sell it and I give you 25% of that, that's actually 3/4 of my margin. It's not going to work. So I like to have really upfront discussions about how it's going to work. So the answer to you is, it depends on what their margin is. If somebody sells a product, right? If they're selling kids books, let me get a kids book from over here. I have a kids book. Oh, I'm going to get a kids book. Everyone remembers this one? Does everyone remember this one? Wombat Stew. Does everyone remember this book? This is so old school. Wombat Stew. Let's say I'm selling this book, right? And how much is this book? It was $25. Now it's $9. Someone's losing a hell of a lot of fucking money selling this book. So let's say this was $24, right? $25. If this book was for sale for $25 and I said, listen, I'm going to sell you kids' books on my store, I want to get a 50% cut. If their margin on this, well, they're selling it for $9. So let's pretend it's not a loss leader. Let's make sure that they're probably making $2 on this, which means they're probably making it's probably $7 a book cost. Let's say they're selling it at 25, which means $18 profit. If I ask for 50% of the $25, that's $12.50, which means I'm leaving them with $6, right? $6.50, $5.50. So they might say it doesn't work for me. Selling something for $25 and me left with $5.50 doesn't really work for me. So I've got to make sure that the partnership is going to work for them. Does that make sense? And if you haven't read Wombat Stew, read Wombat Stew. It's a great book. How good is it? Make sense? Questions? What other questions we got? All right. Yeah, I think that probably helped a lot. Because a lot of you guys are asking about percentages. That's probably the best way to do it. Look, I think value. So value for you, Bray. How do I bring value to a partnership? I'm just starting out. Look, value for you might be some sort of skill that you can bring. Skill to partnership. It could be a campaign that you're launching and the way that you're driving the business. It could be IP, definitely. If you've got some IP that you have. So I would be looking at it like that. I mean, you're not coming to them and saying, listen, I've got 1 million followers, so I'm gonna be an instant hit for you. I think it just depends on. I think it just depends on where you're at. You got to think about what you have. What tools do you have in your bag? Use those tools. Don't wish out other tools. Think about what tools you've got in your bag and go and leverage those. What else we got? Do you need to work with some people that makes high margin? No, not necessarily. You just have to make sure it works. I mean, if you go low margin, right? So let's go that book again. If I'm going to go sell a book, if I am only going to make $1 a book, but I know I can sell, 100 books a day, and it's just like a nice additional little income, $100 a day. Okay, $100 a day, $50,000 a year. All right, happy with that. So I think that it depends. That's net as well because it's your cut. So it depends on the volume of what you're going to be able to sell. Like eBay. eBay doesn't work unless eBay only works because of volume. PayPal only works because of volume. Amazon only works because of volume. It doesn't work because of the percentage that they get. It's because of volume. Questions, probably one or two last questions I can take. Maybe one last question. Who's got a burning question they can put in right now down the bottom? Go. Put that last question in. And this is helping you can let me know too. By the way, you can share this too. There's a little button you can click there and share. If you want to share this or something needs to be in this, go and share. Go ahead and do that. Partnerships is the questions today. Partnerships we're covering off. So listen, I hope that you took a lot from that around partnerships, and the most important thing, like anything, is that you take massive and immediate action. MAIA, massive immediate action. Because whatever I teach you, it doesn't mean shit unless you do something about it. Does that make sense? Yes, Shelley, you need to get a contract. I don't give a shit if they're your best friend. Get a contract. Because you need a contract if things go well, and you need a contract if things don't go well. So either way, you need a contract. Make sense? Good. Much love. Go kick some butt. Have an amazing day today, and I'll see you tomorrow morning while we continue this journey ready to rock and roll. And who knows? I might be by the time I'm done with Stand Together, I might be give away free tickets to the island. Let's sing about the island today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Much love. Bye.